What's going on, people? So last night, I believe it was, last night I did a Instagram live thing and Instagram live thing, grammar, obviously. Yeah, an Instagram live thing, unboxed a couple shoes. This was one of them. The other pair, if you're curious, that video will be coming up after this one. But anyway, so here we are, right here. This right here, give you a quick side of the box. Obviously, I'm not going to grab it, but I'll show a picture. So that way you can see what's in there and all that good stuff for people that like to see that. And as you can see, it is the Ultra 40, excuse me, not the Ultra 40, the 4D Futurecraft, right? Which in a way seems a little weird to talk about today, given that it's the whole Throwback Thursday thing. So it's like, I don't know, it's a little weird in a way. But the thing is, I got to get this thing done so I can get it out there to the people like you that are watching it, right? So, quick backstory. I saw these on the Confirmed thing and wherever else, right? Mostly because Ryan Curtis, once again, he was like, hey man, like, what do you think about these? I was like, yeah, those aren't too bad, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I didn't think they'd be a big thing, but I was very much wrong on that because when sale time came, it wasn't easy for a lot of people. They did move fairly quickly on through the Confirmed thing because it was just like a first come, first serve situation. But they were also on some website that I can't remember, and then they were also on Undefeated, right? Which is where I sent him a link so he was able to get his pair as well. I don't know if he got him yet though. But either way, it seemed like it was easy-ish if you care to put in a little bit of effort. But hey, it is what it is. You just got to think about like, how important is it really? And honestly, I'll tell you right now, not very, because it's just a pair of shoes. A pair of shoes that we're about to talk about. So, as I said before, this right here is the Adidas 4D Futurecraft in some kind of black and green colorway, obviously. But that's not enough. We need to talk about it. So we're going to start with the bottom though, because why not? So across the bottom, what you're looking at down there is a slightly different outsole than you have come to see on your average 4D. Usually it's more of the same material that you see in the midsole up here, just kind of like spiky or something. But this time around, they switched it up, and you can also see that there is a Continental emblem, or not emblem, but logo down there. So this time, unlike some of the other ones, they're actually putting the Continental logo on there to let you know that's what it is, which still makes me wonder, is that what was on the last ones or not? Never really looked into it too deeply because I just don't care. But anyways, moving on past the midsole, or excuse me, past the outsole, up here to this here midsole, right? Now, this is that same lime green sort of color that you've seen on a million of these 4Ds, right? They did start switching it up sometime over the last year or whatever, but this is the old tried and true or whatever, the original one that they went with, right? And as you can see from like the different angles and everything, it does have a cool look to it, that whole 4D structure. It's just, I don't know, it's got a little bit of a wow factor going on in there, right? It also had a little bit of an expensive factor years ago, but they fixed that, thankfully. But anyway, so that's pretty much the midsole, right? Not a whole lot to say about that. So let's go ahead and just move on to the upper and get into this. So the way this upper is done, now it is primate, as you might expect, right? But down here around the toe box, it's built kind of like, and you can see there because you can see very much through with those large breathing holes in it. So it's built kind of like the Ultra Boost Climbers. If any of you guys had those, you probably remember they were very thin, very light, right? Which is kind of how this is built, right? Not everywhere, but definitely around here, right? So looking at the toe box, you do have that going on. Down around the outer areas, it is not as stiff as like the Ultra Boost 21. It's still close, but if you're looking for all that extra durability around there, these aren't going to have that from how it seems right off. Obviously, I can't say for having really worn these because I just took them out of a box not even a day ago. But anyway, so you got that going on, right? And then moving on back a little bit, in the middle area, you do have the 3 stripes in there, and that is on both sides in case you're curious. So no cage, just kind of, it looks like a light chalk line, honestly. So that's kind of on there. It's a nice little effect though, right? Because I like how it's kind of subdued, not all in your face. And so moving on a little further back, where the heel cup area, or where the heel area is, there it's actually pretty stiff. So generally that's the kind of thing to help keep your foot from slipping around and all that good stuff, right? And so one thing that you will probably notice, and you've probably seen it already just from the pictures, is that on the back area, it almost has the same design as on the toe box. It's just you can't see through it. And even to the touch, everything after the first quarter of this shoe or so, first third of this shoe, it's all a little thick, right? It's still knitted and all that. It's just got a little more substance to it or something like that, you know? So that'll probably come into play when you're actually wearing them and all that stuff, but we'll talk about that later. But anyway, so overall, I'm just looking at the shoe. That's from the outside. That's kind of what you're getting, right? Just a lot of black prime knit. But, you know, no complaints out of me. Now let's switch things over to the front and finish out the outside. So obviously these always, well, it seem to be always coming with the standard flat laces. No different here, black laces as you see. And then above that, you've got the Adidas logo at the top and just a little bit of 3M going on in there, just enough, right? That's the only spot that it is on this shoe in case you're curious. And now that's the outside. We covered all of that, right? Give you one more good shot of it just so you can kind of take that look. And now we're going to dip down into the inside on the insole, and what you're seeing down there is a word, and that word is Futurecraft, because that's what the shoe is, right? And otherwise it's just black down in there, nothing really to talk about. So I would say we finished pretty much this whole outside, but I'll give you again my personal thoughts because I'm not sure if I really did or not. But again, given that this is built like the Climas and stuff, it's kind of sort of, it is pretty light, and I do like that. I think the way that they did it, it was a bit underwhelming in pictures, but now that I have it in hand, I kind of like some of the little detailing to how they actually did the knit. So these get a thumbs up from me. I'm cool with them, definitely cool with them. But that's enough of me about that. Let's talk about the sizing. Now I bought these, as you may have seen, in a 9.5 because that's the same size that I buy in pretty much all my shoes, right? So these, they fit exactly like I expected them to. So if you have any Ultra Boosts or other Ultra 4Ds or whatever, or if you have any, maybe you got some Vapor Maxes or something, whatever you would regularly buy in a shoe, just go with that and you're probably going to be good. Also, given that this is like a knitted material, it's going to be a little more forgiving than certain other shoes might, so you got that on your side as well. Now, once you get these on and you're kind of walking around on them, then you know, things can matter a little bit more than just, you know, the sizing, right? Because that's, you got to know if they're actually worth buying. And these, I would say they are, because walking around in them, one of the improvements that I noticed, and I'm comparing these to the Ultra 4D 5.0, those Oreos. That outsole that they have on here, it's not a huge disparity of comfort difference between this one and that one, but you do notice it. So it just felt like it was kind of absorbing the impact just a little bit more, just enough to make it more comfortable, right? And then the midsole was pretty much the same, and that's solid. You just got to give it some time to break in, and then it'll give you a little bit more comfort. But out of the box, thumbs up all the way. And then topping things off with the upper, right? The upper here, it is, as I said before, it's a thinner knit. So comparing these again to the Ultra 4Ds, given that these are thinner, they felt a little bit more comfortable, right? At least just right out of the box anyway. So if you're kind of worried about that more snug fit or whatever, you do kind of have a more snug fit with the Ultra 4Ds, not so much with these. I was going to compare along with the Nice Kicks ones, but those, it's a different material, so it just wouldn't even be fair. But I believe that's good enough as far as describing the comfort and all this stuff. But again, just to give you one quick synopsis, thumbs up from me all around, top to bottom. And again, this is what I was comparing to. So as I was saying, the way that the material is knitted here, this one, it is a little tighter, right? This one's very loose, so especially if it's summertime or whatever, this is definitely going to be your guy. But overall, this one felt more comfortable to me, but I can see how sometimes this one might be the one you might want. Again, if it's like cooler or something now. And visually, I kind of like this one more a little bit too. And then as far as down on the bottom, that's what I was talking about. When you look at the soles here, it's just a little bit different. So there we go, we've done it. Which means I can now say that thing I often say, which is, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. I'm gonna wrap this video up so I can record this video down there about that shoe that's down there. Later, people.